we take like 20,000 breaths a day. Most people don't breathe correctly. The one thing I love about breath work is you will feel it right away. When someone tries and they feel different, they're hooked. People are starting to hear about it. Google Trends are going up. People are searching for it. So even if it's box breathing or 4-7-8, like there's so many breathing techniques. It's like I've seen people's life change in like an instant. Regulate your mood, help you to relax, maybe go to sleep. It can be used for athletic performance. It could be used to be more resilient, deal with stress, and help mitigate the effects of burnout. It will have such an impact on your overall health that you'd feel like a different person.
Gio Bartholomeo is a transformational wellness educator, breathwork facilitator, and entrepreneur dedicated to helping people reduce stress, unlock emotional resilience, and reconnect with themselves. Gio is best known for his breathwork and nervous system regulation tools, including the Elemental Rhythm app that brings awareness to your current state of breathing and allows you to experience breakthroughs in your life.
It was because I was coming from a wounded place. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs that need to prove they were good enough. Their drive for success either brought them safety or being seen and heard and stuff like that. When you can shift that into coming from a place of creation and love, you keep all those skills you learned, but now you're not doing it out of fear. You're doing it with this different energy behind it. What that's gonna do is gonna get you in the present moment. You'll have more clarity on to create what you wanna create in your life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Table 6. I'm Dana Duncanson.
And I'm Tiana Jayatunga.
Welcome to the show, Gio.
Thank you. Super grateful to be here.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Good.
You've got a Zen energy, as I was saying earlier.
Oh, thank you.
Is that because of all your breath work?
It's been a long process to get to Zen. It didn't start out this way. It's a lot of breath work, yeah.
Good.
Honestly, I feel like there are so many different ways and aspects of wellness nowadays, but breathwork is one of those overlooked ones. It's just one of the things that people don't pay much attention to. So being someone who's a professional in this, maybe you can introduce people to what even is breathwork?
Yeah, that's a good question, because a lot of times when people get introduced for the first time, like I breathe already all the time, but your breath and the way you breathe is directly correlated to and linked into your nervous system, all of your organs, the way your brain operates, your heart rate. And breath work is kind of like a blanket term. Breath work can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It's good now that there is more awareness towards breath work. People are starting to hear about it. Google Trends are going up. People are searching for it. But basically, breath work can do everything from regulate your mood, help you to relax, maybe go to sleep. It can be used for athletic performance. It could be used to be more resilient, deal with stress, and help mitigate the effects of burnout, all the way to changing your brainwave to unlock deeper creativity. And even some breathwork techniques and styles can bring you into almost like an altered state, like psychedelic kind of state, where you can have emotional releases or have visions or, have these crazy transformations that I've witnessed in some of the work that I've done. So there's a big kind of like spectrum of breathwork and what it is and what it can be used for. Most people don't breathe correctly, and that's like the first thing that I tell people. We take like 20,000 breaths a day. And if you optimize them, like it will have such an impact on your overall health that you'd feel like a different person in, no time at all. So there's a few things that are important just for basics. Like one is a simple like acronym, R2D2N I like to use. So rate, rhythm, depth, diaphragm, and nose. Okay. So we'll talk about it backwards. Yeah. Nose is what you should be breathing with. You shouldn't be breathing with your mouth. There's a lot of things that you can use your mouth for, but it shouldn't be for breathing.
Right.
Maybe in a really like high intensity workout or something like that, you can't get the breath to keep up. But your nose will moisten the air, it'll filter the air. It even spins the air so it goes deeper down into your diaphragm, so you get better oxygen exchange.
Wow.
And so that's like the first thing. It's like this is like the thing we need to breathe. Now, most people are mouth breathers. And when you mouth breathe, and you hear that joke kind of on, like you hear people saying like you're a mouth breather. So when you're a mouth breather, what happens is your nose stops working properly, and then some people's their face caves in. A lot of kids that have dental issues is because they're mouth breathing. That your jawline gets a little bit, your nose collapses, like the air passageways start to collapse, get flaccid, and your face actually caves in a little bit. Oh. So when you start to nose breathe, you actually also get something called nitric oxide, which you can only get through your nose naturally. And that's really important for a lot of bodily functions. So if you're mouth breathing, you can start having a lot of side effects of mouth breathing. And a lot of people that mouth breathe also overbreathe. And overbreathing Like when you look at the list of side effects from overbreathing, it looks like one of those crazy drug commercials, which is like side effects may include like poor sleep, irritability, poor circulation, cold feet and hands. Like all these things are related to breathing.
Yeah. That's really fascinating. I think, I mean, even as you're talking right now, I'm thinking about my breath, and I was just so aware of it. With those who are mouth breathers, are they able to sort of get into the exercise where they can actually get back into the space of?
Because we don't think to breathe, right? It's not something like, okay, inhale through the nose, open up your diaphragm. Okay, we got to do this oxygen and you spend your whole day just focusing on breathing.
Right.
So it's automatic. So we've learned to automatically breathe a certain way, usually because of our nervous system state. And we can teach ourselves to breathe the correct way. It just takes a little practice, then it becomes muscle memory. So once you nail down the nose breathing, that's the first thing I tell people. Then you're right in rhythm. So you want to have like a really consistent rhythm with the way you breathe.
Yeah.
And you want to try to slow down your breathing.
Right.
Like practice to like slow it down. Because when you slow your breathing down, it'll calm you down. It'll allow you to be more present and less reactive and able to deal with stress a little bit better.
Yeah.
The rhythm should be, a slight inhale, a little pause, a little bit extended exhale. And then there's the depth. So breathing into your diaphragm. Your diaphragm's a parachute-shaped muscle under the rib cage. And many people have very tight diaphragms. Why? Because a lot of us want to like suck in our gut and we hold a lot of tension there, emotion. So we really hold on to a lot. And if you look at a lot of the yogis, they're these skinny guys with a little like kind of belly because they allow their diaphragm to open so they get like the full depth of breathing. In your diaphragm, you have parasympathetic nerve endings, which is the part of your nervous system that helps to rest and digest. And so by allowing yourself to start practicing that breathing, it'll open up your diaphragm. There's some exercises you can do as well. And when you breathe deeper, it allows for more efficient oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. So it's part of a process that you got to kind of like reteach yourself. But what you said earlier was where it starts is being aware of your breath.
Yeah.
Like how am I breathing right now? Am I clenched up? Am I holding? Am I breathing shallow? And so what I tell most people, like a really simple tip is put like 4 or 5 random alarms in your phone that just say breathe on it. Whenever it goes off, just check in the way you're breathing. If you're not breathing the way you should be, slow your breathing down, breathe through your nose, relax your diaphragm, and just come back to your breath. The more you start practicing that, then it becomes automatic.
Yeah.
How do you become aware of it? Because I feel like you go about your life, you're just kind of, you don't realize that you're breathing wrong. And I think this is a new concept for me, probably you too, Tiana.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Like, I had no idea that I could have been breathing wrong. And I know that by breathing wrong, it increases your stress and your anxiety. So for people who maybe are just having that realization now that, oh, I have been breathing wrong this entire time, how do you stop and actually take note of that? Or how do you realize that you're breathing wrong? Like, what if they think that they've been breathing right this whole time?
Yeah, like most people just have an awareness. So they don't know I'm breathing wrong or right until they actually know how to breathe properly. And then it's like, oh, I can improve on this. And there's no right or wrong. It's like, okay, can I do a little bit better than I was doing before? Like that's it. Like it's small improvements. And for a lot of people, what happens is whether it's a traumatic event or feeling unsafe as a kid or maybe something happens at school, like that puts them to fight or flight. And they're always scared, worried. So their nervous system is reacting. It's like, okay, you have to fight or flight, which is more of like a thought process than actually there's not like a tiger in the room that's actually threatening you, but you believe that you're not safe. Or so your nervous system responds, you start breathing shallow, you start breathing quicker, you start breathing through your mouth. So much so that just becomes the norm, right? So it doesn't matter why it happened. It's just to be recognized, hey, I'm breathing this way now. And I just got to remind myself to change the way I'm breathing.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where like a daily practice comes in, to have a set time aside, do a little bit of breath work, like first thing of the day. So you set the tone for your nervous system for the day, and so that also, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later in the podcast, is some things that you can do. And a lot of people ask me like, what do I do when I'm really stressed? Yeah, there's a breath work for that. But it's better to have a better baseline so you don't need to get there because that sometimes it's like really hard to do when you're in that stressful, I got to remember this breathing technique because you're already in fight or flight. You're already kind of like your mind's kind of scrambled. It's like, okay, how do I create this baseline so that I'm more resilient and I'm less likely to need this when I feel stressed because I can deal with stress in a different way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel like recently breathwork has become more known even in professional environments. And it's still at that point, though, where people are able to dismiss it as either a trend or a placebo. What are your thoughts on people who just dismiss it without trying it? And how do you back it up?
This was a lot of science that's really showing, like, first of all, pranayama, which is the ancient yogic kind of school of breath. It's been around for 5,000 years. And these yogis have been saying these things and showing that they can control their heart rate. They can change like so many different breaths for so many different things with the nervous system that now science is just catching up to say like, yeah, they're actually right. And they would say these yogis that with their breath can take their heart rate from like all the way down to like, 40, 30 beats per minute to like all the way up to like 200 beats per minute just by the way they're breathing. And so now science is starting to catch up, and now there's like Huberman's talking about it on his podcast, like Huberman Labs, which a lot of people follow that. Guys like Wim Hof, who did the ice bath thing, like made it really popular, and people are using it to change their state, to feel different. But usually, like for me, the proof is in the pudding. Like if some people just are not ready for it, they want to try, they don't. But when someone tries and they feel different right away, they're hooked because they felt the difference. And the one thing I love about breath work is you will feel it right away. You start doing yoga, you go on a diet, you start working out at the gym, you might feel sore the next day, but the benefits you don't feel right away.
Yeah.
With breath work, like you're gonna feel the benefits like right away, whether it's just a breathing to calm your nervous system or one of those transformational experiences. Like I've seen people's life change in like an instant. Like I can tell like when they come out of having this like one of those deeper, like an hour-long breathing session, like you can see the shift in the transformation because I had this huge kind of aha moment, like reborn. Like that's how I got into breath work. I had that same experience years ago where I was just like, how is this even possible?
Wow.
And then from there, it was like this curiosity sort of drove me to like understand more because I felt how powerful it was.
Wow. So you mentioned Wim Hof, the Iceman, and I heard that you attended one of his sessions. How was that experience? What did you learn?
Yeah, so he was my first breathwork teacher. So So as an entrepreneur, then I kind of realized like, okay, what I'm doing is crazy. I was just like working myself to the ground. I felt super unfulfilled and kind of sent me on this like spiritual searching for meaning kind of conquest, which led me to like the jungle and drinking plant medicine and kind of came back and realized, okay, like I was totally on the wrong path. I was focusing on the wrong things. Didn't know anything about anything. I need to meet new people that I can learn from. And so I had a podcast at the time, and one of the guests I reached out to was Wim Hof. I'd seen a video of him, like this guy's super interesting. I want to have him on. This was like before he was like super famous also, like now it'd probably be impossible. And we hopped on, we hit it off. I loved his energy. And he's like, you got to come to this training. We're doing the States, the first one, North America. I want you to come. You can be my guest, whatever. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I went there and I just saw like one thing that really stood out was how he believed in people and that power of belief and how it motivates people. And I started actually using it in my own business, like how I can use that energy to kind of like encourage people versus leading from fear, which is like, if you don't do this. So he really believed in us and we got us to do all these crazy things, like climb a mountain or short, jump in the frozen lakes. And, I survived all of it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the last day he led us through this like deeper experience where he was like playing a drum, we were breathing. And, after like 5 or 10 minutes, I felt this like vibration moving through my whole body, like almost like a jet engine was about to take off. And, I was like, okay, like I felt safe. And that's a key thing in transformation is like feeling safe in the nervous system.
Yeah.
I felt safe. I hadn't died yet doing all the other stuff. I'm lying here breathing, what could happen. And I have this like complete out of body experience where I'm like floating around the top of this 20-foot log cabin. I'm looking down and I see myself.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden I get scared. I'm like, okay, did I die? Like I've never experienced anything like this. I've done all these plant medicine, psychedelics. Like this was like completely in a different realm. And I guess I got scared and I remember like opening my eyes back in my body. And that moment, it felt like the first breath I'd ever taken. Like I was like a rebirth experience, they call it.
Wow.
And immediately I feel this well of emotion coming up. Like I'm gonna cry. And I'm like, okay, guys don't cry. There's all these other competitive people here, like before I could even complete that thought, I'm just bawling like a baby, crying like boogers and tears and like, and loving it. Like I was just like, oh, this feels so cathartic. Like what a release. And as I'm going through this process, like this voice comes in my head and it wasn't the regular self-talk. It was like this pause, like, hey, Gio, you're doing a great job. Like, keep it up, follow your heart. Like you're on the right path. Something was speaking to me that felt much different. Yeah. And that was the moment my life changed. Like one of the many changes that happened, but that was a really pivotal turning point where that spark inside was like, okay, I got to find out what this is and I got to share it with others.
Yeah.
And then my businesses started moving in that direction where I want to help people. And as I started leading breath work for others, I felt a feeling I never felt in business before, which was fulfillment, which is what I was missing, which led me on that spiritual conquest in the beginning because I started making money as a serial entrepreneur and I wasn't feeling any different because I thought, I was kind of raised in a very European immigrant kind of like hard work is like going to make you successful, respected, happy, all these things.
Yeah.
So I worked my ass off. And then eventually I started making a little bit of money. And I was like, okay, I don't feel any different. I just feel like I need to make more. I need to work harder. Like I'm finding other people now that I got to get better than. Because now I surpassed a few people, but now there's all these other people here. It was like this never ending like rat race to be successful.
Yeah.
And the first time I led a breathwork for someone, there was this really interesting experience where it was reciprocal. Like I was giving them something, but I was also receiving something at the same time. And my intuition was like, this is where you need to focus your work on.
Yeah.
I know how to make money on it. It was just like, follow your heart and you'll figure it out. And this is very different from the analytical brain that I grew up with that kind of helped me survive. It's like listening to this intuitive kind of heart space.
Yeah.
Wow. It sounds like you've done a lot like with cold exposure and everything too, and that has had a huge part in transforming how you feel about breath work and your journey in this. Have you been to Othership in Toronto?
Yeah, so I know those guys really well, Robbie, Harry, Amanda. I actually taught them breath work, and they came to like one of my Wim Hof experiences where I brought them to the ice bath for one of the first times.
Oh, nice.
And I really helped them in the beginning, like as they were kind of like researching and figuring out. We went to like New York and all these different places to try these different things. So I love what they're doing, but what I think is really unique about what they're doing is they're using the elements to change your state, but they also have like a very strong community aspect, and they have like a personal development kind of flair in their sessions, which adds another layer to it, which is really amazing from a business perspective, which makes it really sticky.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's great because in this part of Toronto, it's like the wellness hub. You've got Othership and a whole array of experiences for residents and visitors and Torontonians to really take in. And I think when you think about the fact that we are in a metropolis where people are always on the go and are probably in pursuit of money and career progression, nowadays this generation is really focused on prioritizing their health and their wellness. And so it's really just great to have a lot of different offerings in the area. You've probably been to and seen many of all kinds of wellness across the world. How does Toronto stack up in comparison to other places?
Yeah, the one thing I love about Toronto is it's got an amazing entrepreneurial kind of like community and spirit. And yeah, like a lot of people are bringing these wellness aspects in many different ways. So some of them are more community-based, some of them are more physical-based. So I think it is right up there with any other city because it's got such a diverse kind of community that's bringing different aspects in. So I would say like it is in the top kind of space that I've seen through a lot of my travels. And that's why I kind of came back here. I went to go live in Costa Rica for a couple of years. But, and a lot of people I've known that have moved out in search of something, they always come back to Toronto. There's something special about this city.
Yeah.
I have a question about cold exposure and just like sauna and cold plunge. I recently saw a study where it's actually not necessarily beneficial for women to go into like the near freezing temperatures. I wanted to know, as a breathwork instructor, what is your opinions on this new research that's come up?
Yeah, so here's the thing with wellness that I've learned. Because I've been like vegetarian, carnivore, like no coffee, drink as much coffee as possible. There's always going to be conflicting studies. Like I looked into that women's thing, and yes, it is true for a lot of people, but I've seen other studies that actually say the opposite. And what I tell people most important is like, it's always good to go gradual, trust your body and learn how to listen to yourself than looking at a number. Like, hey, it should be 4 degrees. It should be 10 degrees. Right. It's like, listen to yourself. If 10 degrees is the most you can do right now, say that. If you're pushing yourself to try to find your limit, you're going to find your limit. And when you find your limit, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right.
Right. And was where I was before. Was like, let me do the most of everything. Let me push it the hardest. And I was like, wait, this is like that old competitive mentality, which I need to kind of like balance out, because competitiveness is great, but it's not great when you add it to every single aspect of your life. You just become competitive at everything, and then it's never good enough. You get this kind of perfectionist. I got to win everything.
Right.
And for me, like the biggest shift was when I was like, okay, I like to win, I like to be competitive, but I don't need to do it all the time. Because then it became just transactional. What can I win from you in this business deal? How can I like be better than everything else? And I felt that was part of what was making me unfulfilled. Now, what I realized was it was because I was coming from a wounded place. And it drives a lot of people. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs that need to prove they were good enough. Maybe didn't get enough from their parents, like to tell them they were good enough, or maybe grew up in a very unsafe environment. So their drive for success either brought them safety or being seen and heard and stuff like that, which is amazing. It builds amazing skill sets. But when you can shift that into coming from a place of creation and love, you keep all those skills you learned, but now you're not doing it out of fear. You're doing it with this different energy behind it. And breathwork helped me to get that clarity. where I saw like, okay, like I don't need to make as much money as possible. I need to do something where I can bring so much value. And when I focus on that value that I bring, the abundance will come in many different ways: opportunities, financial, time freedom, because I got to get clear on what I actually want. Not working out this fear of if I don't have this, then I'm going to be unsafe, or I'm not going to be seen, I'm not going to be recognized. You know, so I had to really see where this drive was coming from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Wow, this is like really great, because I know there's been a lot of talk culturally in this huge cultural shift. Speaking of entrepreneurship, of entrepreneurs, leaders, CEOs, and athletes all sort of taking on this new breath and mindset kind of work. What kinds of breath work are there? I would imagine there's probably different kinds that you can do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So again, there's like all different kinds of breath work. Like I was mentioning earlier, like you can have a simple practice that helps you to regulate your nervous system, all the way into those like holotropic or elemental rhythm, like longer journeys where you can use it to kind of like go beyond the conscious mind. So the analytical mind shuts off, which is the one that's always thinking, analyzing, doing. Yeah. And when that goes off, you can go into your subconscious mind, maybe see where some of the drivers are. Sometimes you go into a very creative state. But what I tell people is most important is to find a practice that you resonate with. So even if it's box breathing or 4-7-8, like there's so many breathing techniques, do it for 10 or 20 minutes a day. What that's going to do is going to get you in the present moment. And then you'll have more clarity on to create what you want to create in your life, whether it's just creating for that day, whether you're thinking about your business and where you want it to be in the next year. When you get the analytical mind out, you come into a state of presence, and it'll allow you to really visualize better and really be less responsive and more taking action to create.
What were the two examples you gave just now? Box breathing?
Box breathing, 4-7-8 breathing.
4-7-8. What are they? Like?
Okay, so box breathing is like, just imagine a box. So you can do this with me. So we're gonna inhale for 4 seconds. We'll just do it together. So take it
through our mouths?
In through your nose.
Good.
So not a mouth breather, Dana.
Okay, let's go.
Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And you just keep going around the box. And what that does is it slows down your breathing rate.
Yeah.
And it calms you down. So Navy SEALs use this breathing. You can do this before bed. You can do this in the morning, just get really present.
Yeah.
As you slow your breathing down, your brain waves start to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
So it brings you more into the present moment. So when you have that really over analytical mind or anxiety, you can use this breath to slow it down. 4-7-8 is the same. So they use this really a lot for anxiety. This is great before bed. So you're gonna inhale for 4. So we can do this together. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one, exhale through the mouth and make a whooshing sound. 5, 6, 7, 8. Do one more round. So in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. How do you feel?
Relax.
Really good.
Relax. Those 2 breaths, 2 cycles you went around.
Yeah.
And see how it just like brings you right down and relaxes you?
I think I did this one because I had I have one of these like ring trackers, and on that app, like it had like one of these breathing things, and I was like, oh, I'll just try it and see. And I slept so well that night.
Wow.
Like it actually, I was shocked because I was a skeptic, I will say, but I did genuinely feel the benefit of it.
If you have a heart rate monitor on one of those devices,
Yeah.
you can watch it in real time as you do this breath, and it'll just start going down.
Yeah.
And you start relaxing more.
Well,
Or HRV goes up.
Yeah. I definitely felt my heart rate kind of slow down and steady.
It's a very relaxing tool.
And so do it for 5 or 10 minutes every day, get calm, and then just like really like take some time to contemplate. Because a lot of people don't spend the time to actually contemplate about life, what they want to create. So they're in reaction mode all the time, reacting to social media, reacting to work, reacting to what people are telling them to do, what their fears and thoughts. When you clear your mind, now you come from this space where I can create.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. We just had a chat the other day with Dr. Sapna, who was talking about just making intentional time to take a break. And I think this is a really good addition to that, like being able to just program time. She was mentioning, like, if you have back-to-back meetings, keep the meeting short, have a 10, 15-minute break in between. And
reset.
This is an easy, free thing you can do.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And when I started really applying these, like the one thing is like visualizations, going to the new year, like you visualize, what do I really want by this year?
Yeah.
And so the layer that I think that a lot of people don't think about is like, when you think about yourself like 12 months from now, it's like not only what do I want in my life, but how do I want to feel, right? Because some people don't think about like, if I have all this money, is that going to make you feel? If like, you buy a house with, you know, all these rooms in it, then now you got to have all these cleaning ladies, or like, you know, this big lawn you got to take care of.
Yeah.
So really focus on how I want to feel. And when you do that daily, you're already going to that vibration that you've already been there. You've already accomplished that. So you think of the things, but you also feel the way it makes you feel. So you want to feel excited in your work. You want to feel less stress. You want to feel peace. You start bringing that frequency in now and you start attracting it, but you got to clear your mind first. Because if your mind is in reaction mode,
Yeah.
you're bringing that frequency of like fight or flight. Like I got all these things to do. I'm always behind. Now, like things are not working out for me. It's because you're putting yourself in that vibration of like that stress and like just like pushing through.
Yeah.
It's like get into that Zen, visualize, map it out, draw pictures. AI is amazing for it. You can like say, hey, this is my visualization until you get it right. You see it and you bring in the emotion.
Yeah.
The emotion is so important, like a high vibration emotion, like gratitude, abundance, stuff like that, love. And that for me has helped me like create these amazing things that I never even think were possible. It's okay, I'm gonna imagine it's already done. I'm not gonna worry about how I'm gonna get there. And I use my breath to get me in this state where I can just go into a clear visualization. That's been an amazing process.
Absolutely. And I feel like people are now realizing that breath is actually the quickest tool for emotional regulation.
100%.
Do you think that it should be mandatory in a corporate setting?
I think before corporate, it should be in schools. Because if you learn this skill, you'll have it. So they teach you like, you know, I'm not going to get into it, but my kids are in elementary school. Some of the things that they're learning, I'm like, this has zero actual like application to your life.
Yeah.
You know, like zero.
Yeah.
And if you learn how to regulate your emotions, your nervous system, your mindset, like that would help you so much. I see a lot of kids that struggle. You know, maybe there's stuff happening at home. Maybe there's social anxiety at school and no one's teaching them how to regulate their nervous system. So it starts there. In our company, we get everyone to do breath work, you know, but they're mostly doing it anyways. And sometimes we'll go into corporate and we teach these simple skills, but you know, you can't force someone to do anything. You can't force them to transform, to heal, to stop doing something that they know is distracting them. They kind of have to want it as well. But this is where you got to kind of like sell them on the benefits of it, right? Like if they see the benefits, just, okay, get to try it. So I tell people like, try breathwork for 30 days straight. I guarantee you'll feel completely different in 30 days. Like it's almost guaranteed. If you just did 5 minutes a day for 30 days straight, like you're gonna be a different person in 30 days.
This sounds great for like high stake moments too, when you're about to present a presentation or you're in the middle of a negotiation or even
100%.
conflict, right?
Do you feel that leaders who actually use breath work in these situations and just in their workplace as a regular thing are more likely to make better business decisions?
100%. Like when you come from that regulated place where you're kind of in the present moment and your nervous system actually goes into this like what they call ventral vagal, like a safe kind of present kind of state. In polyvagal theory, it's like a theory about the nervous system. There's like a fight or flight, which is sympathetic. Then there's like a freeze state when you're just like too much, you kind of like shut down. When you're in that safe place, like you're operating in a way different place when you're making decisions, you have clarity, you're present, you're less reactive and more kind of in the creation mode, like I was saying earlier.
Right.
So, and it's not just using them in those situations, like having a practice. You know, like every morning you do a little breath work and your breathing is optimized through every breath you take during the day. And then in certain situations, you can use it as well to kind of like top up and get that extra boost.
Yeah. So true.
I'm so calm now.
I know. I'm so calm too. I just feel very, very relaxed.
And the other thing too is like, and this is also really interesting. There's a lot of research around it. Like someone's nervous system can regulate other people's nervous system.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I feel like when you walked in, it immediately made my energy feel like a bit calmer. And
So we're like communicating our nervous systems all the time. So there's like, if you have a regulated nervous system, it's like co-regulation. I can bring other people into that more calm, relaxed state just by being in their presence, right? The same thing with heart rate variability. They've shown that certain people get into a heart coherent state. They can pull other people into that coherent state as well just by being around them.
Wow.
You know, and that increases heart rate variability. And the Institute of Heart Math does some amazing studies on that. So as a leader, you know, think about how your nervous system affects your team, how it affects like how everyone else. So again, like some people's style of management is through fear. And like, you know, so now that is going to be in all their nervous systems, but I don't think people operate in their best out of fear.
Yeah.
You know, when they're regulated, excited and feel supported as part of something bigger and they share this vision, I think that's when you get the best work out of people.
yeah,
Right. So again, like some people have been very successful using the fear way. Me, I've learned that like doesn't work for me. Like I usually have resentment and kind of like start checking out. I'm kind of afraid and I'm kind of looking for another job, or as an entrepreneur, just like working with people or partners. And like, I started realizing that I couldn't be around people. This was like, I was starting to have my awakening. It's like, I felt certain things, right? I just didn't want to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, how do you create that environment that comes from that vibration where you're setting that tone from your nervous system wise, but also the culture, also the way you show up for people, also the way you share that like love and inspiration, belief in others.
Yeah.
And I think that creates like the best work environment if you want to like really build something like for real, it's going to have longevity.
Yeah, I think I felt that very thing the first time I went to Othership. So I used to work in media full time, and I used to be assigned different tasks to go to. And I had to go to a Blue Jays game, and I didn't. This is when Othership first opened up.
Yeah.
I had no idea what they kind of signed me up to. I was like, it's fine. Like I know it's a sauna. Like I have to cover it and all of that. And I was so stressed out by this Blue Jays game that I was doing a bunch of like street interviews and stuff. And then they were like, okay, your next shoot is Othership. You were late. So I was like, okay, running to Othership. And I got inside and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm late. And everyone was just like so zen. And I was like, what is going on here? And
It actually scares some people because they're so used to like adrenaline, cortisol, fight or flight. They operate like that can be scary for them because you know, your ego, like the operating system is trying to keep you safe and it likes certainty. It likes what you know. And anything that's like, oh, is that different? I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs are like, oh, if I'm zenning and lose my edge, that means I'm not gonna make money. And if they're coming to this fear, like money is important for safety, it's like, I'm gonna avoid that. So you see a lot of them will avoid, oh, I don't need breath work. Like, cause they think it might be hippie or like, you know, it's gonna change them in a way. But I'm like, it's actually the opposite. Like all this hard skills, you don't lose those, but now you can apply them in a different space.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
So, you know, like change is always hard for people, especially like you go to Othership, you're like Blue Jay game, high energy, like really intense. And you go to like Zen, your nervous system's like, can I trust this? This is like something that our nervous systems do. It's called neuroception. When you go into a new space, you're scanning for threats. Am I safe? Do I trust this or not? Like almost subconsciously. And if you don't feel safe, immediately what happens? You go into fight or flight.
Yeah.
I don't trust these people. I'm not sure. And that's where it's like good to be able to regulate your system. Like, hey, I know this is a safe place. Calm your breathing down. You tell yourself there's like to panic about.
Yeah.
It's true. It was so calming, and it was just like, but it was also their Friday night social. Which have you been to their like sauna party?
Yeah.
I've never been to.
I want to hear more about this sauna party.
It was literally okay. So I had no idea what I was walking into, right? And I was like, okay, it's just gonna be like sauna, and this was my first ever cold plunge. I definitely think I only made it through the cold plunge for the whole 2 minutes because of the breathing that it had. Like there was like breath work that was in there. So it was just like, how do you distract your mind? How do you take it, inhale, exhale? Like all of those things made me get through it. My husband jumped up in the middle of the tub and like splashed me, so that didn't help. But but we got through it. But it was their sauna party. So it's like they play music and then they have like the towels and the like incense balls.
It's a performance. They make it like an experience, which is cool.
Yeah. But that was my first experience.
And the ice bath is great because it allows you to be more aware of your nervous system. You know, how do you control in a high intense environment? Like, you know, we don't got to throw you in a lion cage. We could put ice, cold ice. The body immediately is like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like this is dangerous.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, like there's nothing that can actually happen that can hurt me in here. Just my mind is afraid right now. And it starts thinking about like, oh my God, this feels so painful. I got to get out of here. And then if you're not controlling your breath, you can really spin out pretty quickly. And you see people jump right out because they're just like, they can't handle it. But usually about 20, 30 seconds in, as you're saying like, hey, I'm safe, I'm just breathing, then you can just say it for like 2 minutes. Like once you pass that threshold, like you're usually pretty good.
Yeah.
You probably deal with this a lot and see a lot of people's transformational stories because you lead so many people through breathwork exercises. Do you have any stories or examples that you could share with us about someone, either a leader or a client who has experienced like increased clarity or confidence from a single session?
Yeah, like a lot of times like people will come out with just like a new idea of something they've been working on for a long time that they couldn't figure out. You know, so I've had a lot of those where people are like, yeah, I know exactly what I got to do now. And they might even share what exactly that is, but it's like, yeah, I kind of solved this problem that I've been working on for like a long time in this breathwork session right now. A lot of the times though, what happens is like something personal shifts within them, like a belief or a trauma or something like that. And then they show up completely different in their work. And that kind of unfolds over time where they have this deep aha of like something that was holding them back. Because what happens is when we have these subconscious beliefs, things that happen to us mainly in our childhood, but can happen at any time if it's intense enough. Now our subconscious mind is playing this belief on autopilot in the background, always scanning for that to happen. So for example, you know, I was in front of my grade 2 class, I was saying a speech and a stain, like a ketchup stain from a hot dog I ate at lunch on my shirt. I didn't notice it, but now everyone's laughing at me. They start calling me hot dog. So now my brain is like, okay, never go in front of people ever again for the rest of your life because it's dangerous. It's embarrassing. And you can be, something can happen. So I'm always self-conscious about like, do I have anything on me? Like my whole life, I now have this program all the time is like, hey, be careful. If someone notices something of you that's off, you're going to be embarrassed, right? So they can go into breath work and then see like, oh my God, like that's where it came from. Or it's so silly, like, and the belief changes where they realize like, actually, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not broken. And like, once that belief shifts, now that program's not running all the time. So the energy and the clarity, something lifts off them.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not always, they go in a room, they realize, okay, I'm not that scared to be in front of this anymore.
Yeah.
So things like that can happen where it creates so much space. So in your capacity to perform, you don't have all these other fear programs running in the background, as an example. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Totally.
So we've seen stuff like that. We've seen people claim to heal physical things, like all kinds of crazy stories, which I don't know if we want to get into those, but a lot of them will relate back to a belief that they previously had about themselves they were able to shift, right? Because that is like the lens through which you see reality. There's layers to it, and the base layer for everyone is beliefs or programs. Okay, I believe this about myself. I believe this about the world. There's an internal and external view of it. Based on those beliefs, then you have thoughts. Okay, you think certain things. So after you think about it, you have an emotional reaction. So you think, was this good or bad? What's the implication? I have an emotion, then I act or react. Like the action is the last step. And it happens really quickly. So we all see the same thing. We see someone trip over a curb outside in the snowstorm. I'm going to laugh. You're going to be worried about them. You're going to think, oh my God, are we going to get sued? We all have a different belief, and our thoughts and their actions
always on my mind.
all changes, right? Based on what's the most present for us and what's like those strongest beliefs that we have. It's like, it's all going to be different. Same thing. We all just experience a whole different reaction in our nervous system body. Now, once we change from the belief level, all of that changes. Our thoughts change, our emotional reactions change, and their actions change. And this is where like the inner work comes in. So it starts with breath work, but breath work is kind of just like the key that opens the door to really understanding yourself better, really taking a look at yourself. And it's hard work, like most people don't want to sit with their emotions. Most people would rather have a few drinks, go doom scroll, addictions to all sorts of things is because they really don't want to feel their emotions or sit with them. So they want to distract themselves. And I did that for a while too. I was partying a lot, I was avoiding, and then I realized, okay, this is not getting me anywhere. It's just making me worse, And I really had to sit with like the things that I didn't want to sit with, like the feelings, and really just allow myself to kind of process and sit with them using breath work, other tools, working with a coach, all these things. It's hard work, but like for me, it changed my life so much in the long run. It affected my family relationships, my friendships, my businesses in a huge way. And it's kind of like the path for me for wellness. It's like, yeah, you can do these physical things. And that's how it started for me. It was like, I want to get into shape. I started eating a little bit better. So like my body was getting a little bit cleaner, and now my mind was starting to change, and I was starting to be more aware. And then that led me to this next thing. It was like, maybe it was breath work. Maybe it was going to do a plant medicine journey. It was kind of like a progression. Yeah. And I tell people like, whatever you're curious about, start there. Yeah. But you got to try things that are outside of your comfort zone a little bit, because that's where the growth happens. If you're staying in your box, you're going to live in your box. Some people, they don't want to get out of their box, and that's okay too. Like, you don't want to force anyone to get out of their box.
Yeah. Well, to talk a little bit about all of this, like I actually went to Mobility House recently, so we can check it out a little bit on my experience there and everything that I got to try, the different modalities there. So let's check that out. So today I'm at Mobility House, and I'm going to get a chiro session, which I've never done before. This is Justine. She's one of the founders of Mobility House, and she's going to be walking us through the chiro session.
We started Mobility House 2 years ago, and we wanted to create a space where we could get every alternative medicine, so not just your family doctor. So here we have chiro, osteo, physio, massage, and naturopath. So chiro is really good for restoring motion. This is going to help optimize your workouts and also your posture, and then being able to sit at your desk properly. So we started with your history, and that's just what brings you in. And then we do the physical assessment. So that's going to be testing all these body parts, seeing where the pain is and trying to figure out where it's coming from. We go over consent, making sure everyone's on the same page for their treatment planning, and then we get into the actual treatment. Typically for my treatments, I start with all soft tissue first, and then I do any modality you need. So whether it's acupuncture, TENS, any sort of scraping, tool work, and then we do all the adjustments at the end.
I just finished my chiro session. I feel very relaxed, and felt so much less tension in my back. Now, Mobility House has a lot of different modalities. The next one we're going to see is needling. I'm a little scared of needles, but I'm going to be walked through exactly what needling is, facial acupuncture, and learn a little bit about it. So come with me.
My name is Dr. Quinn Curran. I am a naturopathic doctor here at Mobility House. So today I'm going to show you what our facial acupuncture session looks like. So I'm going to start with your ears, and then I'm going to quickly move down to the rest of your body for kind of a constitutional boost from a Chinese medicine perspective. Any type of cosmetics, it works from within as well as external. So we're kind of targeting both at the same time.
Do you feel it?
No.
No?
No, at most you feel it too, but then after that, you don't feel anything.
It's very common to have kind of TMJ masseter issues. So I'm getting him to clench his jaw for me as I go down the masseter muscle, which is the issue. You see a brightness in your face, and you also leave very calm, very relaxed.
Having seen and heard more about needling, I think it's taken the fear factor away a little bit, and it doesn't seem so painful. In fact, it seems to release a lot of pain, which was a really cool learning. Welcome back to the table. We are going to continue our conversation on maximizing breath work. So Gio, maybe you can tell us and give us some tips on how is the best way that I can maximize breath work to increase my wellness plan and to increase my own physical health.
Yeah, that's a good question. First thing is just being aware of how you breath. That was the simplest one we talked about it earlier. It starts with awareness. How am I breathing throughout the day? That wellness, that breath alarm you can put on, that starts there. And then just breathing through your nose, breathing into your diaphragm, just practicing the basics is for most people is where I would start. Another really cool, I guess, thing that some people do is they tape their mouth shut at night. So if you're a mouth breather and you mouth breathe at night, you're all night long, you're mouth breathing. And a lot of people don't know if they mouth breathe or not, but they sell these online too, mouth tape that are meant for this, but you can just get a little strip of tape at Shoppers Drug Mart or Walgreens and
Duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape. And you tape it together and then it forces you to breathe through your nose for 8 hours. And so many people that just do that feel all these amazing physical benefits and health benefits that change. So those are two simple things that I tell people to start. Just try that and you'll see a shift. And then it's just setting aside 5 or 10 minutes a day. If you can do 1 minute a day of conscious breathing, whatever practice you like, pick one that you resonate with. There's a million of them on YouTube. We have an app too, but it's so easy to find now. Spend 5-10 minutes a day and just commit to it for 30 days. If you can just start doing that, you're gonna feel a lot better. From there, there's so many different practices, building up your CO2 tolerance for sports, but to just keep it simple, have awareness of how you breathe, start to breathe functionally a little bit better, nose, diaphragm, like we talked about. And maybe mouth tape at night. Those are the 3 really simple things. If people did that and they're mouth breather and they're not breathing correctly, they're going to feel a huge shift. Clarity, depth of sleep, do a little breath work before you go to bed too. For me, on the wellness side, before people start taking injections and peptides and supplements and all this stuff, how are you breathing? Yeah. And how are you sleeping? Then how are you eating is also important, but there's so many debates on what's the right way to eat. So I kind of stay out of it. Just cleaner the better, less junk and processed stuff. But sleeping, a lot of people don't realize, you're scrolling on your phone, bright lights, loud, you're thinking about work right before you go to bed and you're eating late and probably maybe having a few drinks. That's going to kill your sleep.
No, that's so true. Every single time I've had alcohol or just been on my phone longer before I've slept, I've always slept really bad. My brain is so active.
Yeah. And so red light glasses are good, dim the lights, blackout blinds in my bedroom, make it dark. And do some breath work, regularly bring your nervous system down. Once you start catching up on your sleep, your whole life changes. When you're lacking sleep, your nervous system is automatically in fight or flight. Yeah. It's okay, we're low on sleep, everything's a threat. And so you're just looking for danger, thinking about the worst scenarios. Your nervous system is survival mode.
You're angry at everyone too.
But it's because you're lacking sleep. And if you read Matthew Walker's a great book, Why We Sleep, you read about sleep and lack of sleep, it'll scare you. What happens when you're not getting full sleep and how one night of lost sleep, how detrimental that is. And I'm man, for my 20s, didn't sleep at all. So now it's okay, if you're not sleeping and you're not breathing well, those are the first 2 things. It's hey, and your breath work can help the way you sleep. So do some breath work before bed, down regulate, have all the other things that are going to support your nervous system, and you're going to see huge impact. Those 2 things.
That's great, because it sounds like there's a number of things that we should be applying here. And we just saw with Mobility House, all the different services there. And looking at these different modalities, stacking modalities. So looking at breath work, physio, getting cardio in, and all the other offerings. Like, what is the benefit and why does it make sense to stack it as opposed to, I choose, this versus that?
Like you said, like things like mobility helps. Like sometimes there's actually things that we can help, like with our alignment, with doing like chiro or osteopath, where like you actually need an alignment because your nervous system is off because maybe you're saying like I'm sitting too much in a chair and get up and walk. Like at my house, I have like a seated desk, I got a walking desk, and I got a kneeling desk with like a thing. So like I can change it up here and there.
Yeah.
And I'd say if you are like sitting is gonna be the new smoking. Like a lot of people are talking about that. Like just sitting and being at a desk all day is gonna have a lot of chronic health issues. So like go to the gym first thing in the morning, go for a walk. Just even if you go outside for a 5-minute walk, first thing in the morning, after every meal, you should go for a little bit of walk to get your breathing going. Like it'll make such a huge impact. Like I was starting to have hip issues.
Yeah.
Then going down to my ankle issue. And what I figured out was, because I was sitting too much during the day, my psoas was getting tight. It was throwing off my whole alignment.
Oh.
So I had to go to my osteopath to kind of check it out. He's like, yeah, like this hip is coming from here. And then like, I don't know if you've ever had someone like push into your psoas muscles, but it's the most weird feeling. And I felt it going through my whole body.
Wow.
So it brought that awareness. And now I'm like, okay, like I'm not going to sit for a long amount of time. I'm going to do my stretches properly. I go get kind of tuned up every once in a while. So things like mobility health, like, yeah, like it's important to go and make sure like you're in alignment, and like using things like that are like really important as well to add in.
Yeah. And what do you think the ripple effect is of including these modalities as a part of our daily or even like weekly wellness plans?
Like in your life?
Yeah.
You're going to be happier, healthier, have more energy, like everything. It's going to be, like I tell people like where you're at right now, like if you're happy with that, then you don't do anything. You know what I mean? But if you're feeling like there's got to be something better, I'm tired, I'm stressed, all these things, okay, like you got to start trying different things, because obviously what you're doing right now is not sustainable long term, or you're just going to be unhappy.
Right.
And ultimately, like what I realize is all that humans really want is to be loved, to be happy, to feel connection. So if you don't have a plan for those in your life, like you start thinking about those, because once you like isolation, and I think this COVID thing, not a lot of people talk about it, but a lot of people that are depressed, that have addiction, like isolation is a very common denominator there. And I don't think we're getting the same interaction through the screen that we get when we're around people.
Yeah.
So I tell people, it's like, a lot of us have a high need for connection. If you're not getting connection somewhere in your life, that you should really start looking for it.
Right.
And it's really important for our nervous systems, the way we've evolved as human beings, to have interactions with other human beings. So, back to your questions, like, hey, you're sitting at your desk all day, you got to move a little bit more. You got to find ways to interact with people a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we're never designed to sit for like 10 minutes a day. So like doing stretches, like there's all these different things you can do, but we definitely weren't designed to do what we're doing now. And I think like 10, 20 years from now, we're going to see like how bad this was for our health. And so, but it's good to be proactive and start making these changes now.
Wow. Well, we'll have to get a standing desk for the...
I know. We can start half the podcast in a standing and half of it sitting.
10 minute maximum sitting. This has been a really great conversation. We're going to shift gears a little bit and do a fun segment called This or That. So we've got a series of questions here.
All right.
Pick your choice. There's no right answer.
Okay.
You've got 2 options. You get a chance to choose, then Tiana, then myself. Let's go with the first one. And these are some questions that we got from our audience. The first question is, do you go for a morning run or get 10,000 steps in a day? Which would you prefer?
Morning run.
10,000 steps. You cannot make me run, guys.
I'm with Tiana, 10,000 steps.
Yeah, I started going to F45 first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And it changed my whole day. Like just getting that movement like in one shot, like it was a game changer for me. But some people are morning people, some people are more like slow risers. So
Yeah.
I'm a morning person. I just am not a running person.
running. Okay. So like a high intensity workout instead of running. Okay.
Meditating for 10 minutes or a digital detox 1 hour before bed?
It's a tough one. The digital detox probably. Yeah, digital detox will go.
Yeah, I've been doing a digital detox an hour before bed. I've been just like reading, and that's helped me sleep better. So
Yeah, I agree. Randomly venting in your voice notes app or scheduled emotional check-in with yourself?
Scheduled emotional check-in with myself.
I don't do either of these. I guess an emotional check-in. I mean, are you venting to yourself?
Well, I was going to
note?
say I sometimes vent to Chat GPT. And then it's pretty like affirming of how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I saw this interesting study. I think it was on Instagram, so I don't know how valid it is, but it was saying that if you vent out loud and actually say the thoughts, like the outcome actually improves by like a crazy amount, because you're actually releasing that by saying it out loud, what you're feeling
yeah.
and what you're upset about. So I don't know the exact protocol, but it's very interesting that was even a question. So
I guess
maybe
you can hear your thoughts and you can be like, is this justifiable?
it's something about just letting it out. I think, I don't know. It was interesting. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Dana loves to send voice notes.
Oh, I'm a big voice note sender.
I'm just like, he sends me a voice note. I'm like, this is a minute long.
Everyone complains about this. I've normalized it so much. It's just so much easier and time.
For you.
Thank you for tuning into my little mini podcast notes. Okay, here's the next question. So 5 minutes of guided breath work or 5 minutes of scrolling through Pinterest?
We know your answer.
Daily affirmations or weekly reflections of gratitude?
I'd say this is a hard one. Affirmations are okay, but they're kind of like really just mindset only. So I think the gratitude I'd have to go with, but once a week's kind of tough. But anyways,
Yeah. I would say daily gratitude. Like, what was it? Daily checks of gratitude or?
daily affirmations
Yeah.
or a weekly gratitude, reflections of
Oh, yeah.
gratitude.
Daily reflections of gratitude will give you a more positive outlook on your day because you'll think
So you
about
combine the two.
Yeah.
Ah,
I didn't know we could do that.
smart. I'll go with that answer as well. I will say I have a stack of, I got this somewhere on Queen West. It's like a stack of daily affirmations. I probably change it once a week. And I have it sitting like right next to my computer. So that's been good. But
Okay.
yeah, it really is good to find the gratitude in the day, right? And then you realize that a lot of the things we're stressing about are like, you actually should be grateful for the stresses you have like in a city like Toronto, right? Because there are signs that like you're thriving and life is good. So yeah. Okay. Saying no more often to protect your energy or saying yes to new experiences that expand your joy?
Saying no.
Oh, I might.
I have a problem with saying yes to too many things. And I'm just like, if I just said no, sometimes I just want space. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's no for me.
That's a really tough one.
It is a tough one.
I think I would say yes just to try new things.
Oh.
Okay, but not maybe.
No, that's good. That's a good way to start the year out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably say no as well because I'm like you. I overcommit to things. And then when I say no, I actually feel guilty. And then I somehow find my way back in somehow or I negotiate. When sometimes it's actually just like a no and I got to
Yeah.
work through that guilt. Overcome it, I should say. So structured joy. So schedule hobbies or classes or spontaneous joy, like playing, creativity, unplanned fun.
Wow. If I could have spontaneous as much as I'd have structured, I'd go for the spontaneous. I love surprises. Like, just like, hey, like, we're going to do this now.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm a very planned person, so I'd go with the structure.
same.
How do
can
you
have-
structure joy? What if you're not in the mood for joy? And
No,
it's
usually
like,
like within the hours of 2 to 4, I'm gonna be having so much fun.
all right, I like it.
That's how my spontaneous mind works.
All right, that's the end of that segment. That was a really fun one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Who won? Is there a prize? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We all win.
Well, I think we learned a lot today about breath work, and thank you so much for coming here and just teaching us about it, because I had no idea how important it is for our nervous system and to integrate it into helping us get rid of stress, sleep better, all of that. It's just, it's opened my mind.
Yeah, just the ability to regulate your nervous system and then just to integrate little practices throughout the day. Definitely going to look at the different types of breath work and see where I can like actually plant it right into my calendar. Where can we learn more about how to get into practices or exercises around breath work?
Yeah, so our website is elementalrhythm.com, www.elementalrhythm.com. On there, we have different resources for people that just want to breathe. You can download our app from there. There's a whole bunch of information. Whoops. And even for people that want to become a facilitator, that want to go down that path, that want to teach other people how to do that. And you can follow me on Instagram at elementalgio. I'm usually active on there if you want to connect with me,
Right.
or through the website. That's kind of the two easiest things. But I will say, There's a lot of stuff out there now. Google search, ChatGPT search, like tell them what's going on. Like ChatGPT is great at recommending different breathwork practices. If you want to learn from us, you can check out our website.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in today. Hopefully you're going to breathe a bit lighter after this. And thank you, Gio, once again for being here at the table. We will see you all next time.
Awesome. Thank you.